Hey, wine mermaids. This is the Peace, Love, and Wine podcast, bringing you happy hour conversations with awesome women on self-care, sisterhood, and creative living to reduce stress and maximize joy. Life is short, so grab a glass and get ready to sip, sparkle, and make a splash. Make sure to visit peaceloveandwine.com and enter your email to receive VIP deals and get your free self-care download. Now, here's your wine sister hostess with the mostest, Tiffany Humfeld.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Peace, Love, and Wine podcast. I'm very excited to be joined by Abigail today, our fearless coach who helps women get out of the rut of the corporate job without sacrificing their sanity and income. I think I got that right, didn't I, Abby?
Yeah, sanity. Actually, I should put that in my marketing.
Apparently, I just made that one up.
You can bill me, or I can bill you. Give me that idea.
So we met originally. Actually, you're from the UK, and that's where you live. But we met in California at a program that we were working on together, program we were using for our own education and betterment, right? So I'm really excited that now we're here on the podcast. So thanks for being here.
I know. Who would have thought it? I am so happy and privileged and grateful to come on here. I love what you do. So I'm really excited to, share some of my insights and to have a little chat with you today. Not with wine, though, with coffee.
Yes, we're both on the coffee and tea train at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, but there you go.
We'll save that one for later. But I wanted to make sure we let people know what you're doing now, because you were doing something a little differently when we met, and it seems like you've really fallen into your current focus because it was what people were asking for.
It's funny, how just these twists and turns in life and where it takes you. So I think when we first met, I just brought my business online, and I was currently working. I had a business, a successful business actually, but offline as a personal stylist. And I used to style women in London. I had, premises based in London. I just wanted to bring it online. And even though I love that, and I still do an element of that, I very much work with women on their self-love, like inner and outer. It just, just something didn't connect, and it just didn't feel like what I was really supposed to be doing. And I truly believe that we're all born with this special talent and a way that we can really share this talent with the world and change people's lives for the better, the people that we impact. And I just knew that I had a bigger purpose. And it just kind of unfolded, because the more that I was working with clients, the more clients came to me and said, I want to do what you're doing. I want to learn how to leave corporate. I hate my job. I want to leave, but I'm so scared. I don't know what to do, but I've just had enough. And I see you going out and, having a successful business and enjoying your life and traveling and, going to all these wonderful events, like the event that we met in California. And I want to learn how to do it. And I just thought, right, this is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing. And as soon as I made that decision and made it official, everything just fell into line for me. I felt so happy, so aligned with what I was doing. So I work with really clever, intelligent, independent women, and I help them leave their soul-sucking corporate jobs. Without losing financial or without risking financial security and status and sanity. That's something that I'm going to add on now, Tiffany. But that is, that's true. And, I remember when I look back on when I left my corporate career, I was in corporate for 14 years. I had a terrible heart condition that was caused by stress, and just, I was so unhappy in my job, and it came out in my body, and literally my heart broke. But even then, even though I was so unhappy, so ill, so tired, so stressed, I still stayed because I'd worked so hard to get there. So why would I give it all up? Because I liked being the successful, corporate person within my community. So there was an element of ego there. And secondly, I just had no idea how I would make money if I left. So, it's funny, you teach what you most need to know, and the clients that come to you are you in some form or another. And those are these are the women that I'm working with now. They're super confident, they're super successful, but they know that they need to be doing something differently, but they just don't know how to do it.
Awesome. And so what does that look like then? When you're working with somebody, are they all over the map in terms of where they are personally with what they want to do? Or do they usually know kind of what their purpose is? They just need help figuring out the step-by-step to make it happen?
I would say that the majority don't know what their purpose is, or they think they don't know what their purpose is. A lot of the women that I work with actually know what their purpose is, but they don't think that they would ever be able to make any money from doing it. So they just dismiss it. So I do work with a mixture of clients. So some women, a small percentage of women have a dream and they're like, this is what I want to do. But the majority of the women that I work with, a lot of my work is to help them find their purpose. And once they've found that purpose, to actually really help them truly believe and be 100% confident that they can go out and they can do that. And you can, shock horror, actually do something that you love and make money while you're doing it, which, we know that you can do that. But gosh, if you'd have spoken to me, 5 years ago in corporate, there's not in a million years would I have thought that, I'd be able to work from home or work on my laptop while I'm traveling, or, do all the lovely things that I do in my life and actually make money. I mean, it was just a fantasy. Mm-hmm. So I'm helping these women, these wonderful, wonderful, clever, intelligent women, turn their dreams into reality. And that for me is just the best job in the world.
Yeah, that must be really rewarding.
It is.
Yes. So I know you like to have fun, and part of the way I know that is because of Flossy.
Yes.
Flossy.
Flossy the Campervan. Yes. It was my dream ever since I was a little girl to get a VW Campervan, a classic. And my father died about 5 years ago, and he left me some money when he died. And I one day I was just alerted to Flossy. So Flossy the Campervan was for sale, and I was alerted to the fact of this. And I was kind of like, oh, do I do it? Do I not? It was just about 3 years ago, so it was just about when I was kind of transitioning, just before I transitioned out of corporate. And it was a fearful time for me, and I was like, can I afford it? And should I not keep this money and wait until I fall flat on my face and then I'll need the money, completely coming from a place of fear. And everywhere that I looked, I kept seeing campervans, I kept seeing VW campervans, and I just thought it's a sign. So yeah, I bought her. Mm-hmm. And we were away actually a couple of weekends ago. There's this amazing place. Have you ever been to the UK, Tiffany?
I have. I've only been to Northern Ireland, and yeah,
what a lovely place to visit. Okay, so you've been to a good place,
but I haven't been to London.
Well, London's really fabulous, as you can just imagine that it is. Totally amazing. But there's a really, really cool place in the UK called Glastonbury, and there's a really cool festival there every summer in a farm outside of Glastonbury. But Glastonbury is a very, very cool town, and it's supposed to be like the old Isle of Avalon, like King Arthur days, and it's steeped in history. And we actually went away in the camper van a couple of weeks ago there, and it was just lovely. So it's nice. Like I love to go on really lovely exotic holidays, but I also love to just chill out in the camper van and drink wine.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Mm.
It would be really cool if we could somehow get Flossy and Phyllis in a photo shoot together.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Let's set an intention and let's manifest it. I would be totally up for that. I also think that Flossy should at least visit America. I can see Flossy in California. Maybe just, tootling down to Venice Beach and going parking at the bottom there. Yeah.
Definitely. So I actually don't know how frequently I've spoken about Phyllis on the podcast. So just to remind everybody, Phyllis is a 1979 green Love bus, VW bus that one of my besties has. And so she's kind of was the whole inspiration for the name of Peace, Love, and Wine, which came about through a wine trip, of course. Where we took the bus. So I was really excited when I found out that you had.
I love the name as well. So she's 6 years older than Flossy. Flossy's 1973.
Mm-hmm.
She gets a bit rusty as well, bless her, with the British.
79.
Oh yes, of course she is. Oh my goodness. I must apologise. It's 9:15 in the evening at the moment in the UK as we record this.
You were just going the other direction.
Yes, of course she is. Yeah. So Flossy's she's getting a little bit rusty with this salty, because I live on the seaside on the south of the English coast, and yeah, we get some salty sea fog, and she's getting a little bit rusty, so we keep having to go and fix her.
Oh, poor Flossy. And those ladies are old enough, that they do need regular checkups regardless of the sea air. So
they do. They need a bit of maintenance, like all of us as we get a bit older.
Oh dear. All right. So you were going to share the name. How did you come up with the name Flossy? And you said,
oh yeah. So how did we come up with the name Flossy? So I'm assuming that you have got listeners all over the world, and I'm sure that listeners of a certain age, certainly in the UK, will remember a children's TV show in the 60s. That's actually before I was born, but it's quite famous over here. It's called the Magic Roundabout. If you just Google it, because it's just amazing. So bearing in mind, it was made in London in the 60s, so you can imagine what they were on. These creative types as they were designing this TV show. So I don't need to explain it all. You can read the backstory. It was a children's TV show, but it's much more than that. And I think as you watch it as a child and then you watch it as an adult, you actually realise what it's all about. But there was a character in there called Florence. We because it's a bit of a hippie love bus. Mm-hmm. We named the van after Florence, but Flossy for short. So yeah, and I've never named a car before. I've never done it, but I just think, gosh, if you have something like that that's got so much character about it, you need to assign a name to it. So yeah, she's definitely part of the family.
That's awesome. Do you have pets that you take with you on? I think I read you had a dog.
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah, so we've got he's just coming up to 5 months. We've got a mini Dash, little mini wiener, as you guys would call it over there, called Rudy. And he's absolutely adorable, and he's just completely chill. We can take him anywhere, and there's not a peep out of him, and he's so good. And we take him away in Flossy 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden he turns into this dog that's barking at everything, and we can't control him. And I'm like, what's happened to this dog? So we went away for 2 nights, and literally Rudy was guarding the van, and if anything dared come near, even if it was a leaf, he would be barking his head off, and we're like, what do we do? But we've realised that it's a little bit of a doggy trait. If you have a camper van, they kind of think it's my territory, and then they guard it with their life. So we just need to kind of take him on a few more trips to chill him out, and then he'll be fine. But he absolutely loved it because he got to sleep in bed with us, and he doesn't sleep in our bed at home. So he was just as happy as Larry in Flossy.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that story. A little bit off topic, but I'm good going there because that's how my brain works. But plus,
me too.
It's not all about work, but I want to make sure that people understand what you see and what your experience has been with sort of that scary step, right, of having a corporate career that's maybe paying very well and wanting to move. First of all, why do you think women have this dream, but they tend to maybe stay at the corporate job much longer than they should?
I think there's lots of reasons, and I think there's lots of excuses. You know, if I look back to how I was and what my process was, and also what a lot of my clients go through, you know, if you look at it at a really, really deep level, like a proper, like deep mindset level, it's fear of rejection at a very, very deep level. That's why we don't go through any changes, because we're fearful of being rejected. That's why a lot of people are very, very uncomfortable with change. So, you know, as much as you're unhappy in a situation, so as much as I was unhappy in corporate, as much as a lot of my clients were unhappy in corporate, they were still within their comfort zone. So I would go into work and I'd just be like, oh, I don't want to be here, and I don't want to do this project, and I don't want to manage this team. Don't get me wrong. The company that I worked for was wonderful, and my team were lovely, and my colleagues were lovely. But tell me that at the time, I just wanted to be out of there. You know, it was me that was really unhappy deeply inside. However much I felt like that, I could still go into work, and it was really easy for me to do that job. You know, I'd leave work, I'd come home, I'd probably work some more because that's what I did. But, you know, I'd get a paycheck at the end of each month. I had nice holidays. I had a nice lifestyle. I used to travel a lot for work. So I worked for a really amazing travel company, and I'd go and stay in 5-6 star hotels all around the world. You know, life was easy. I was in my comfort zone. So actually taking myself out of that comfort zone was a really, really scary thing. And I think, well, for me, it was the fear of change and the fear of being a failure. So that then means people rejecting me because they didn't want to work with me. You know, I wouldn't be able to get clients. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to make money. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to pay the rent. Therefore, I'd end up living in my car for the rest of my life. You know, so these were all the fears that were coming up. And, you know, if you think about it at a very deep level, like at a cave woman level, it kind of makes sense because, you know, for years and years and years embedded in our whole persona, like our, you know, the way that we're made, the way that our brain operates, we were trained to be accepted, to not be rejected, because if you lived in a community, you were protected. You had food. You had protection, you had warmth, you had all these securities. If you were rejected by the tribe, you would probably die.
Right.
So that is still within us, but we're not going to die anymore if we get rejected. You know, I remember when I was, you know, 30, I had my heart broken massively by who I thought was the love of my life at the time. He broke my heart, but I didn't die. It wasn't a nice experience, but I didn't die. So these things can't kill you. So actually, it's kind of working through those fears, because it's really, really difficult to overcome these fears. And lots of fears, you know, I've already mentioned, like, fear about whether you're going to pay the mortgage. I'm a mother. Like, how am I going to support my children? You know, a lot of the women that I work with are breadwinners. So it's kind of like, this was the deal. My partner said my partner would stay at home and look after the children. I would go to work and I would have the career. So I would bring in the money. And that was the deal. Like, I can't go back on that. It's not fair on my partner. It's not fair on my children. There's a sense of responsibility. It's almost like you are letting people down by doing something that you want to do instead of doing what was agreed. And I think there's a lot of overwhelm as well. You know, a lot of my clients that I work with are very, very overwhelmed. And, you know, I remember when I was in the process of leaving corporate, I was just so overwhelmed by everything. I was like, I don't have room to think. because there was just so much. There was so much to learn. There was so much to get my head around. It was really, really scary. I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? What if people don't like me? What if, all these fears that were coming up. And one of the steps I take my clients through, because I kind of like formulated a process leaving corporate, because I left corporate and I went on this journey, and then I had some success, and I was like, oh, I did it. Oh, how did I do it? And I really kind of broke down the steps that I did to do it. And really it's like a 3-step process. So it's like the inner work. So it's overcoming fear, loving yourself, accepting yourself, overcoming your money worries, money fears, money stories, all of that. Mm-hmm. Then the outer, then once you kind of get crystal clear about that, how are you going to communicate it to the world? So, communicating it with your friends, with your family, on podcasts like this, or, on Facebook, Instagram, social media, also expressing it through the way that you dress. A lot of the women that I work with have left corporate. They don't know how to dress. They've worn business suit all their lives, and then they're like, oh, how do I express myself? And then it's a plan of action. So it's like a 3-step process. And one of the things that I work with very, very closely with my clients, and the first step, which is the inner work, is how to get out of overwhelm. Mm-hmm. And it's really just finding that space for yourself. I find that as women, we often don't take as much time out for ourselves as we should do. We don't take that self-care and self-love. And one of the exercises that I share with my clients, which I'd love to share with you, is just to really start to understand what it is, why you're feeling a certain way. When your fears come up, it's very, very easy to keep it all to yourself and to internalize and not to share it. So, because especially when you work in corporate, like, you can't do that, right? When I worked in corporate, I couldn't go into work and go to my boss and go, I'm so scared about this meeting. And I just, what if I walk into that meeting and nobody likes me? I don't think anybody likes me. You know what? I really think they hate me. And I've been thinking about it, and I think it might be like a fear of rejection from when I was younger. Oh my goodness, I just don't know how I'm going to cope with it. I mean, can you imagine if I said that to my boss? She would be like, Abby, I think you need to go and find another job. You're just not encouraged to do that in corporate. You can't ever let your guard down, ever. You always have to be this person that's got their, can I swear?
Yeah.
That's got their shit together, that, knows, like, that can just walk into a room and rock it. There's no fears, there's nothing that comes in, because it's such a cutthroat business. There's always somebody behind you that is after your job. There's so many people that are competing for a job. So you grow like these masculine tendencies. I mean, literally, Tiffany, I had to go through a process of literally cutting off my balls when I left corporate. I really did, because I'd become so masculine. There's nothing wrong with having masculine energies, but I'd lost all my feminine energy. So a really great practice is, instead of because you can't speak to people in your corporate career about this, journaling was just an absolute godsend for me. And I know that you would do this as well, because I know that you're amazing like that. So, go to the store, find a journal that really makes your heart sing, buy a beautiful pen, and then just take some time out every day. Just go and lock yourself away somewhere lovely, a lovely space, and just sit and write down all the things that are going on in your head, and write them down. And even if you can't make sense of it yet, the very act of doing that, of like spewing out your inner, like, your judgmental self. Like, there's a name for my judgy self. Her name's Brenda. and Brenda's always freaking judging me. I mean, so like, I have to get Brenda out my head, because Brenda's like, oh, you're never going to be able to do that. People aren't going to pay that much money to work with you. That's never going to happen. You're never going to be able to go there. So get Brenda out of your head and onto a journal. And you know what? It's not just the journaling. It's also taking that time out as well. Mm-hmm. because when we're overwhelmed, you can't do anything. You can't get anything done. You really can't. I mean, it's debilitating sometimes. So exactly. So it just gives you that space as well to think and reflect, and that time for yourself. And then if you've got time, take a bubble bath, because that's always a winner.
Yes. And you mentioned earlier, one of the things that I think often becomes the problem and starts to create recurring problems, and that's that women let their own self-care be the first thing that goes when life gets busy, right? And so it's not like time will magically appear and be longer and, oh, look, a lovely space opened up for me to journal. It's time that you have to be deliberate about setting aside and protecting. And so I just wanted to underscore that. Like, it's not magically going to happen, right? You have
never.
Calendars and scheduling. Those are important.
Yeah, definitely. And, there might be days where you just don't want to do it. You're just like, I'm going through a process at the moment where I'm doing like free writing every day for half an hour about a really limiting belief that I have. I've got a really big blockage at the moment, and a limiting belief around sales and around selling my next program. So I'm getting it all on paper and then I'm burning it. I'm going through this whole ritual, and I'm doing it every single day. I'm actually doing it for the next 33 days. And today I was like, I don't want to do this. And I was writing, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. And eventually it all came out. So even if you don't want to do it, that even more so, because
when you
the thing that you don't want to do is the thing that's going to help you the most. So just fight through it, put your big girl's pants on and do it, and it'll be amazing.
Well, thanks for sharing that and sharing your own struggle that you're dealing with too.
You're welcome.
I love that you named Brenda. Mine is actually Captain Asshole.
Oh, amazing. Captain Asshole. Oh, that I need to put, I think I need to put a post on Facebook and ask others what their name is. But yeah, that's brilliant. I love that.
Tag me in that post so I can.
I will do. I'll talk about this. I'll talk about this podcast and I'll tag you in. That is amazing. Captain Asshole.
So, speaking of social media and Facebook, if people want to find you and see those posts, or maybe even participate, where can they find you on that?
Yeah, so I hang out. So online, I hang out most of the time on Facebook. So you can find me. My business page is Abigail Rebecca, and I also have a Facebook group called Big Change Small Steps. That's the name of my program. And the name of my process, and I guess really the name of my business, even though I still call myself by my name. So just search for Big Change, Small Steps on there. And if you go onto my website, abigailrebecca.com, just scroll down to the bottom and you'll see my social media links. I can't bear Twitter. I've just never got my head around it. I don't get it at all. But I love Instagram. I love Facebook, and obviously LinkedIn, because I work with corporate ladies. So you can find me on all those three things.
All right. And then, all right. We will put those in the show notes. And let me just ponder for a minute if I have anything else that I wanted to ask you. Maybe that is probably the question that women who are feeling that urge to move, but feeling that sense of responsibility that you mentioned. Like, what is the first step they should take, that they can take, to help empower them to actually put some movement and momentum in the direction of their dreams that they want?
Yeah, so most women that work in corporate are really good at project management. So this is about project managing yourself, really. So we're good at project managing projects, but not project managing ourselves. And it's really to formulate a corporate escape plan. And that fundamentally is, really the biggest thing that I help women with. So it's, the inner, the outer, and then actually how on earth are you going to leave? One of the there's lots of different steps to that, I guess, that you can actually formulate and that you can put together. But I think one of the most powerful things I think that definitely helped me when I wanted to leave corporate, and something that helps a lot of all of my clients actually, is to really start to plan, imagine, and then believe what is possible for you. So what do you want to create in the future? So this is all linked to your purpose as well. Mm-hmm. But, an exercise that I did, so I've got a client called Betty, who was actually from London. I mean, I work with clients all over the world, but she was actually from London, and she was a director in a FTSE 100 company. She was very, very successful, and all she wanted to do was just travel the world, and she just couldn't do it. And she just looked in National Geographic all the time, and she all these places she wanted to go and work in, but she just did not believe that if she left her job that she would be able to earn that kind of money, or at least the money to support the lifestyle that she wanted of traveling around the world. So one of the biggest things I think in getting feedback from her, the thing that had the most impact is that I really got her to design what her life would look like. So stop the limiting beliefs, stop thinking, how am I going to make money? But do it like from the reverse. So design it like, what do I love doing? Because when you love doing something, the money comes. When you love doing something, you are in that energy, you're in that vibration, that high vibration. So you start to attract things in, instead of just kind of, again, settling for something that you think will make you some money, and it's all about getting out of that corporate mindset. So get a big piece of paper and take that lovely pen that you're using from journaling, and just start to write everything down. Like, how much money do you want to earn? Where do you want to live? What do you want to do? What kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? If you go on vacation or holiday, where do you want to go? What are the places that you want to visit? Do you want to, what do you want to do for the month of January, for example? Do you want to go and sit on the beach in Bali? Do you want to go skiing in Aspen? You really start to get very, very creative and let your mind run away from things, and then get it all down on a piece of paper and then share it with somebody, because this is so powerful. So we really learn, and we really embed our learning by writing and reading and speaking out loud. So actually, you write it down, you read it back to yourself, and then you share it with somebody. And share it with somebody that's not going to turn around and go, yeah, whatever, as if you're going to go skiing in Aspen in January or through January. Somebody that actually has your back and said, oh my goodness, that is amazing. How are you going to make this happen? And really get some support with it. Get some support, get some guidance, whether it's, a really amazing friend, whether you want to, work with a really amazing coach, whether you want to go and work and, go and join a really fantastic mastermind group, or go and join a program, just get some help with it, because it's, that is the basis of everything. That is you designing your business from your heart. Right. And it's just such a wonderful thing that that you can actually start to lay a firm foundation for the rest of your life and your business. It's actually a 6-step program that I teach within that. So your corporate escape plan, it's defining what you want to do. It's designing it. It's then deciding when you're going to do it. It's then developing that plan. It's all the D's, by the way. So I said dispatch, even though that sounds a bit like, I don't know, corporate. But this, that's launching it, and then it's delivering it. So this is a whole process. So that's the very beginning of your journey, because actually what you're going to be doing is really sort of laying that firm foundation, deciding what you want to do, or that you love, and then you're going to learn the next step. So when you come and work with me, you learn the next steps on how to design the rest of that, and how to leave corporate behind forever and start to live a life with purpose, in joy and abundance. And not just an abundance of money, like an abundance of happiness and experiences and just wonderful people in your life. And, you can make it happen. You really can make it happen. It's just, once you decide to say yes to yourself, that's when, these wonderful things will happen. But you do need to get support with it.
Definitely. I agree. Thank you for sharing all that. I appreciate it. Can you tell us what brings you joy?
What brings me joy is waking up every day and knowing that I don't have to get in my car and sit on the motorway for 2 hours in a traffic jam. No, what also brings me joy, you know what? It's waking up next to my partner Kev. It's just so wonderful to be able to just then carry on that day with joy, you know. So I wake up, don't get me wrong, I'm not I'm not a Disney princess, you know, the birds don't get me dressed every morning, you know, I'm still human, and I still have my challenges, of course I do, but it's just great to wake up next to him and then just do a job that I really love doing and that I don't feel that I have to do because I have to pay the mortgage. I've chosen to live this life, and that's really empowering and joyful.
That's beautiful. I love it. And I love hearing stories of people like you who are doing it. So thanks for sharing with everybody.
Thank you.
If somebody just wants to reach out to you directly, do you have an email where they can reach out to you?
I do, yeah. So my email address is hello@abigailrebecca.com. Or you can just go onto my website. And I've got a free gift as well for your listeners. So, you know, if anybody is unhappy in corporate and this is like music to your ears and there's something that resonates with you, if you want to go onto my website, abigailrebecca.com/roadmap. So that's /roadmap. You'll be able to go on there and download my Big Steps, Big Change, Small Steps roadmap. And a lot of what I've just spoken about, it kind of set you on the path. So it's like the first 5 steps that I always work through with my clients that want to leave. And you can download it, you can just keep it as an e-document, and you can just work through it. And I think, you know, there's some practical steps there for you to really start thinking about what do you really want to do, and, you know, is this something that you can bring to life? And it is something that you can bring to life, but you just need to believe in yourself.
Thank you. Any final words for women, whether it's the women listening or just something you'd like to share about sisterhood in general?
Oh, sisterhood. I think what I'd like to share is, you know what? Isn't it such a wonderful time that we are living in? It's such a wonderful time. And I know that there's lots of shit that's going on in the world at the moment, but, you know, that's all going on because we are massively changing. You know, we're going out of this hierarchical, patriarchal society into a society that's more maternal, more feminine, information sharing. You know, it's a really wonderful time to rise up and just to start, you know, as a woman, and I love men, but as a woman, to really find your power and to really explore your gifts. And I just think that every single one of us should be living a life of abundance and loving and supporting each other and sharing knowledge. So, you know, it's so wonderful what you're doing on this podcast. I love the vibe. I love the messages that you're giving to women all over the world. And I just think just carry on, like, just loving and supporting each other. Don't tear each other down, just support each other. And that's just a wonderful gift to give each other as part of this wonderful sisterhood.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Clink. If you were drinking wine, what would you be drinking?
Cabernet.
Oh, you see, you're just so posh. I like a bit of Merlot. I'm so obvious. I do like Merlot. When I go to France, they look down their nose at me. They're like, oh, what do you want Merlot for? But I love it.
You know, I love the wine that's in my glass. So I'm not too below anything.
That is a good answer. Well, you're more of a wine connoisseur than me. I'm just like, I just like that one thing. That's it.
Well, I look forward to eventually enjoying a glass of Merlot with you.
Definitely, in the respective camper vans.
Yeah, that would be great. We'll have to figure out how to make that dream come true.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
This is a public service announcement from Peace, Love, and Wine. Hey, mermaid, are you feeling calm AF? If not, I have a solution for you, and it's free. Go to peaceloveandwine.com and grab your free self-care download by entering your name into the pop-up, or just go to the show notes and grab your Calm AF link there into your email, and we'll get you on your way to feeling good. Oh, yeah.